And there's a group of teachers from various buildings across the district who are not actually part of the calendar committee, but who have become very involved this year. And they have some information that they would like to share with you, so we're going to take a few minutes and let them do that. I also want to recognize there are a few members of the calendar committee who are over here to the left side of the stage, and I want to thank them. I'll tell you, there's a lot of committees in our district, and calendar committee is one of those that sometimes is kind of thankless because everybody has their own idea about a perfect calendar, and we can't always make it perfect to everybody. So I want to thank them for their service. Let's give them a round of applause. And now I'll turn it over.
Morning, y'all.
Morning.
Another beautiful day in Garden City. Hey, my name is Grant Allen, and I'm an educator here in Garden City. And my friends and I are here today we asked to be here because we wanted to talk to you about something we feel is very important, and that's this year's alternative calendar, which we like to call the collaborative calendar. Now, we represent a group of teachers from across the district on multiple levels who all believe that collaboration is going to be the key to improving our schools. And we believe that collaboration is what's best for our kids. So we're going to take a few moments where we'll talk about a few things. First, we're going to talk about kind of the specifics of this year's alternative calendar. Then we'll talk a little bit about how collaboration between educators is beneficial for students, for teachers, and how a collaborative calendar will benefit this community specifically. So without further ado, I will pass the mic over to my friends and your friends, Mr. Alex Teska.
Thank you, Mr. Grant Allen. All right, the collaborative calendar, just a couple of specifics on it. So what's going to happen with that calendar is almost every Friday we'd have a 2-hour early release. That's where the students would actually go home 2 hours earlier, and us as teachers would have time to collaborate and do various other things that we'll get into in just a little bit here. Some of that time to get those 2 hours in there every single week is going to come from these days. So on the collaborative calendar, we would actually have 4 less all-day in-services. I know, I'm sad too. Okay.
Those 4 fewer in-service days are going to be 4 more contact days with our students. So that means we're going to have more time to spend with the students, more time to educate them, more time to get to know them. It doesn't mean, however, that we're going to have 4 more days overall. We'll still have the same number of days in the building as we do right now. So it's not going to be added to our time in the classrooms. So what's really great about it is that we'll get to have more time with our students, but no more days at school, which is good for everyone, I think.
Also in terms of your day-to-day, with this calendar, we actually don't change the teacher's schedule at all. So for instance, at our school, we start at 7:30, and then the students come at 8. What would happen is the students would come 10 minutes earlier, so they would start at 7:50. But for you yourself, your time will actually not change at all. It will just be the students starting 10 minutes earlier. Later.
The early release time will be a structured time. 50% of that time will go to the in-service days that we're going to be cutting out. The other 50% will go to collaboration time. There will be district guidelines for what that will look like, but it's going to be different for each building depending on our own unique situations. So it's something that you're going to be discussing soon in the next couple weeks within your own buildings, what that would look like for you with the alternative collaborative calendar. And we'll have a copy of the alternative calendar and the regular calendar that already went through, along with a fax sheet that will be coming out sometime today. So you should be getting that in your email.
So oftentimes when there's a change occurring in a school district such as ours, it means more work for us as teachers. And I think the amazing thing about the collaborative calendar is that it's a change that would actually make our lives easier. We had the opportunity to go to the Model Schools Conference, but I know not everybody in the room was able to be there. When Dr. Bill Daggett and Ray McNulty came here, they came up with all of these ideas, things that we could be doing, that we should be doing for our students. But those those take time. For example, looping at an elementary level with 20 minutes in a PLC or with a coach meeting, that really isn't time enough to learn an entire new grade level. We need that time to collaborate. And even as we were discussing the pods that we were leading today, our groups kept coming back to this same point, which is we need more time together. And research shows that that time together, that collaboration is going to not only enhance the education of students, which is shown through their test scores, but it is also going to improve the quality of your time at school. And that can be seen through retention rates. We've had quite a few new teachers come in every single year in Garden City. I think we would really benefit from having a lower turnover rate. In school districts that are implementing this early release time for collaboration, they found that fewer teachers were leaving, perhaps because they're having the opportunity to collaborate with their peers and therefore having less frustration. They're able to put in a little less time outside of school because they're not repeating the same exact processes that their colleagues are. They're able to collaborate and do the work together.
I come at this with a different perspective. I'm a music teacher. I know that a lot of the electives are traveling teachers also. Many times they work on an overload. I know of teachers who are not able to participate in any PLC just because they are not at one building at a time when the PLCs happen. This would take care of that. You would be able to have the same time every week to meet with a PLC. These could also be used for content level meetings. Just in our pod this morning, a lot of was being discussed was a lot of the electives don't get to meet with their content level. They don't have common plan times. At the elementary level, there's only one music teacher. They have no one to meet with, even during PLCs. So this time could be used for content level meetings, for different buildings to meet. Middle school teachers could meet with the high school teachers, and there would be a more consistent flow between the buildings. And as a music teacher, as an elective, I think this would be great. It would, again, as was stated before, it would give us the time that we need together.
Cool. So, you've heard a little bit about what the calendar will look like, how things would change. You've heard about the benefits of collaboration, how it's good for kids, how it's good for teachers, and how it can benefit us here in Garden City. I'm sure that there are questions, and I think that'll only be natural. I mean, this would be a big change for our district and for our community, so naturally, we're going to have some questions involved. So, here's what we want you to do. We want you to keep thinking about those questions. And in the coming weeks, our individual buildings will be getting together and having those building level discussions about what collaboration could look like at your building. We want you to share your thoughts then with your colleagues and share your questions. So that way we can have a very good discussion about this topic. And we want to leave you with just this one parting thought before we get to the most exciting part of the day, ethics training. Okay. We want you to set aside some of your preconceived notions, bless you, some of your presuppositions, and approach this topic with an open mind. Okay? We want to have some real, honest discussion about this, and we want to be able to truly reflect on what it is that we value and believe as educators. And my colleagues and I, we believe that collaboration is going to be the key for success here in Garden City. We believe that it's going to be the future for Garden City Public Schools. So, thank you very much for your time.